I think the mantra that I live by is don't practice until you get it right, practice until you cannot get it wrong, kind of thing. So, you know.
What's good, you guys? Welcome to the very first episode of Behind the Scenes with HRIDAY. Today we've got one of the youngest drummers with the best sound, groove and technique. He was just 3 when he started playing the drums, and today he's 16. He has shared the stage with some of legendary musicians such as Slash from Guns N' Roses, Jimmy Haslip, Steve Smith and of course many more. At such a young age, he has been featured on the DRUMEO channel, the Latenight show with Seth Myers, and also had the lead role in the School of Rock musical. I was really fortunate to have him on the worldwide drum collab that I released some months ago. You guys are really missing out if you haven't checked it out already. It's out on my YouTube channel. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get the man himself, Raghav Malhotra, aka Raghav Drummer.
How are you?
I'm doing great, man. How are things with you?
Good, I'm doing well.
Awesome. I believe you're in LA, right?
I'm in New York.
Oh, New York. Okay. So how is the current situation out there, and have things started to open up?
I mean, not really. I'm just outside the city, so in terms of school and stuff, nothing's coming back. For the fall semester, we're probably gonna go online, and that means also like no gigs and anything, and that means I guess more time for practice. I'm right now in the drum room, so I have ample amount of time to just get in and practice.
Right. That's cool, bro. Yeah, of course. So did you take up anything new during this quarantine? Like, I've started cooking new dishes. I've also started learning new Indian ragas from my grandfather on the harmonium. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. And anything new that you've put your hands on?
Yeah, I started biking actually a lot. I've been biking since I guess last summer, but I never took it too seriously. For my birthday I got a bike, and I'm biking a bunch now, so I'm doing like a 70 to 100 miles a week.
Whoa, that's crazy, bro. So let's get straight into it. So what got you into music, and what were some of your early inspirations in life?
Yeah, so this story I guess is mostly from my parents' perspective, because I'm too young. I was too young to remember, but the one thing I do remember distinctly is that I always used to love music, and whenever my dad used to have music around the house, I used to be happiest when there was music. Anytime, right? So I'd go to like the little iPod with the shuffle thingy, and I'd like kind of pick the song. My dad'd be like, "Hey, can you pick this song?" I'm like, go crawl to the thing and like try to find a nice song that's really nice. But I went to a preschool, and I was kind of miserable every single day but Mondays. And Mondays, my mom found out, was the day that this guy named Dan Johnson, right now he's a tabla player. He lives in Princeton, New Jersey. He used to come to the preschool and kind of play like songs for everybody. Play on his like a little djembe hand drum and like sing the ABCs and like wheels on the bus go around and around, right? So I always used to love seeing him play, and I think that built on the already existing love for music that I had. So my mom was like, "Yo, can you teach my son? Can you just start out?" He's like, "I don't know. I really don't teach like 3-year-olds. I mean," so the camera's falling. So we tried it, and I guess it took off from there. And he was doing lessons with me like every week, every other week. I really loved it, and he actually introduced me to a couple of my first gigs at like coffee shops and stuff, and he taught me, unbeknownst to me, he taught me a lot of Western rhythms as well as Eastern rhythms, because he used to live in India and he studied tabla. So yeah, it's really great, and I'm forever in debt to what he's helped me with. He's really awesome.
So was your first instrument drums or tabla?
It was drums.
Cool. So basically he was just teaching you the basics of counting, feeling and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and I mean, in addition to that, it was very esoteric what he was telling. He was talking about feeling I guess, feeling rhythm a lot, and he was like, "Oh, repeat afterward, like try do what I'm doing," kind of thing. Like he used to play like a rhythm, and then I played it back to him, kind of thing. So I didn't really learn much of the counting or reading until I don't know, like 5 or 6 years old. I really started. I was like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing. It was all feeling for me, and I think that's where it's best rooted.
Right. Yep. I mean, I totally get that, bro. I can relate to that. Actually, my mom, it's from my mom's perspective. So when I was a kid, there was this festival called Navratri, where there are a lot of drummers. Let's say 10 to 15 drummers on the stage, and there are a lot of people dancing in the crowd, on the beats. So this festival is called Navratri. So basically, my mom found that I was always stuck to the stage, watching the drummers play. And then my mom found my Guruji Pankaj Sharma out there. So that's how I actually, got into music. And my very first lesson was Daddy Mummy, double strokes in the Western terms. So Guruji said that you practice that for 6 months and come back and show me where you're at. So that's how I started, learning. Cool. So what would be that one tip or advice you would give all the young guys starting out in the music industry? And also it should be something that you wished you got when you were starting out, One tip or advice.
That's a really good question. I think it's something I've had for a long time, but something I think that is very important nevertheless, and I think it should be learned as just a life lesson early on, is that there's no such thing as over preparing something, right? So if you're playing for your first gig, or like for like a lesson or something, or for anything, there's no such thing as over preparing. I think over preparing, the concept of preparation is proper preparation, because then you know everything to the T, and you have minimal chance to mess up. And right, it's all about fun, right? You want to have the most fun you want to have on like a gig or a studio session. So I think that if you learn your part completely and you don't try not to leave anything out and consider all the possibilities, you'll have the most fun. You'll be able to connect with the people you're playing with, and it'll just be most enjoyable. So I think that's the biggest piece of advice that I can give, and that's something that I live by. I think the mantra that I live by is don't practice until you get it right, practice until you cannot get it wrong, kind of thing. So,
Correct. Right. Wow, that's a crazy thought, bro. Yep. Also, we had a request of you speaking in Hindi. So can you speak some lines in Hindi?
I don't know Hindi, but I know Chinese.
Wow, Chinese.
Yeah, I take Mandarin at school. I mean, that's the best I can do.
And I believe you have some Indian origin, right?
Yeah, my parents are from New Delhi, so I can understand Hindi partially, not really, but I can understand it to the point that I can understand some of the conversations that they try to say behind my back and that they don't want us kids to hear. But yeah, that's probably the extent of what I can do.
Right. True. So yeah, let's move on. So can you share that one experience or story that you would never forget, and may it be funny, good or bad, and what you've learned from it?
Yeah, I think so I did School of Rock the musical on Broadway a couple of years back, and in School of Rock I really learned how much of a well-oiled machine the whole Broadway production is. As an audience member, I don't think you really get to see everything that goes. You don't get to see everything that goes behind the scene. And there's stage managers, carpenters, there are people calling cues, everybody's up in lighting. I mean, and if something goes wrong, it's fixed like that. There's no question to it. So I guess the story I have is that there was one time that there was a hole in the ceiling in School of Rock. In the middle of the performance, a hole opened up. I don't know how. In the stage, and the roof of the theater is like 150 feet above, so you could see and it was direct. It was in the afternoon, so there's a direct sunshine coming onto the stage exactly where it shouldn't have been. So when it's supposed to be dark and you're supposed to see people going seamlessly throughout you see everybody and you see people going through. and it was fixed within the time span of within the time frame of the show, which was, I don't know how long the show is, like an hour 30 minutes. They fixed the roof in that short of a time, and they had to call someone in the production to fix the roof. And I mean, that's just one of many things that have I guess gone wrong, but have been fixed so quickly because of how professional and how much work it takes and hard work it takes to make everything go right.
That's crazy, bro. Yep. So speaking on those lines, can you give us an insight on how did you get the gig? What did you do to get the spot? And also, how long were you in the Broadway show?
Yeah, totally. So I auditioned. So when I was doing the School of Rock, I heard of the open call through a couple of people that I know, and I didn't think it was like an acting or singing or dancing thing. I thought it was just playing drums. So I was like, cool, like, you know, what can go wrong? I just shoot my shot, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work out. So I went to the open call in January or something, or December or February, somewhere in the winter time of like 2014, 15. So I went to the open call. I learned the whole soundtrack of School of Rock, the movie, because I thought that's what I had to play. And I got up on stage. I waited for like 4-5 hours in line. So a lot of people, like 22-something thousand people auditioned ultimately for School of Rock, for the kids roles. And I went in. I was like, I was confident. I was like, I can do this. Just put your best foot forward, kind of thing. So they gave me my 15 seconds of play something improv. I played the drums and they liked it. And then they asked me, can you sing? And I said no, because I didn't think I was supposed to sing, and I was deathly afraid to sing. I said no, and they're like, all right, you know, see ya next time. But luckily I got called back. They remembered my drumming, so I guess I got called back. And every time after that, they gave me a couple notes. They taught me how to act, how to sing, and I had learned the drum part, so that was my most comfortable stage in the audition process. And after X number of auditions, I landed the role as a vacation swing, covering for the main drummer. And then after that, after a couple months, I took over his role, and I was in it for about a year and a half.
I'm sure that might have been a crazy experience for you, bro. So could you also share your experience about DRUMEO? Like how did you reach out to them? Like how did they reach out to you? And also, how was it feeling, you know, how did you feel to teach the entire world at the age of 15?
Yeah, I mean, DRUMEO was super awesome because coming from someone who is not really taught that much, I mean, I can explain concepts and stuff, but I hadn't taught much before DRUMEO. After learning that I had the opportunity to be on DRUMEO and teach a couple of lessons, and I was working with them to go through some stuff that I wanted to share, I realized how well you have to know a concept to be able to teach it to everybody else, right? So I mean, knowing something like I taught a lesson on like conical. Let's see, I taught a lesson. With conical, I mean, I knew conical, but I had to really go in the depths and really dig deep as to what the root of everything was, so I could explain it to everybody who was listening accurately, and I just didn't go on some long winding road and nobody got anything out of it, right? So yeah, that's the biggest thing I learned, and I have a I have respect for teachers, and I have an even bigger newfound respect for all teachers of any profession, how well they have to know what they're doing to be able to teach it to other people.
Yeah. So basically, my next question is, what do you think about the future of music? Like this post-COVID scene, everything has become really virtual. Everyone is doing a lot of collaborations and, you know, stuff from sitting at home. So where do you think our industry is heading towards?
Wow, that is a good question. It's something I've had to think about for a little bit, because I had a couple of gigs that were lined up that obviously got canceled and everything, and I can't meet with people and stuff. And I think it's hard to adapt to this thing, especially being musicians. I think our job is really dependent on timing and syncing up with other people and feeling the energy that everybody else is giving off. And even with services like Zoom or or Skype or Jamulus or all these things, you still have some kind of latency. And even if you don't, even if the software is correcting for like a latency between your timing, you're really not feeling what the other person is feeling that well. I mean, you're not in the same room, and you can't really feed off each other. You can to a certain extent. And it's great how people have come together all over the world to create things, and it's brought in, I think, a new sense of collaboration. Everybody was in like their friend circles, their friend bubbles, but now people are seeing, because I mean everybody's on Instagram and everything and Twitter and all day. So people are seeing other people and reaching out and being more upfront about saying, hey, you know, let's collab, let's do something. I think it'd be fun, and I think it's really benefited collaboration well, but it's going to take some time, obviously, for everything to come back and for everybody to start playing live shows again. But yeah, I think that's the best thing that's come out of it.
Yep, for sure. So also, as a 25-year-old Raghav, where do you see yourself, not professionally or not as a perfectionist, but what do you want? Like personally, what do you expect?
Yeah, that's a really good question. As a person, I think I just like to do what I love. You know, I love music. I love playing music so much. It's really my passion. And it'd be the best and I really think I could pursue music as a career. And I think that's what I'd want to be doing at like 2025. I definitely want to be playing live shows. I want to be in the studio, you know, just doing everything that I can music-wise. And, you know, coming with that as a person, I'd be super happy doing that, right? So doing what you love, you know, a lot of people say, you know, like try to never work a day if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life, right? So I'd love for that to happen. I think that can really happen if I just work hard and, you know.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot waiting for you, bro. And at such a young age, you've achieved such great things, man. And yeah, also I'd seen you live at the NAMM show earlier this year, and I was blown away by your feel and, you know, the way you were locked with the bass player. So how do you maintain the feel throughout the set and also during your rehearsals?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a song, one of the most important relationships is between a bassist and a drummer, because that's the section of the band that's locking everybody in, right? So if the bassist and the drummer aren't connected as much, then the song is going to feel a little bit off. And I'm absolutely so blessed to have been able to start a project with Doug Wimbish, who's, you know, bassist of Living Colour, and he's done amazing stuff with like Sugar Hill Gang and stuff. So I've been absolutely blessed to have started a project with him, and playing with Doug, I think, is just a million billion times easier to lock in, because he's so good. Because, you know, it's just amazing how we can feed off of each other's energies, and it really clicks. So I think it was a couple of years ago at NAMM that we met, at NAMM only. And from there we just we really connected, and with another guitarist named Brandon Taz Niederauer. So we play a bunch of shows together, and I think playing with a bassist like Doug it can't get any better. I mean, it's really amazing playing with that.
Right. Yeah, man. Fuck, that's cool, bro. Yep. So what are you studying currently, like school-wise, and also how do you manage your practicing, the gigs, and even school?
Yeah, totally. In school right now, I'm a rising junior in high school. I'm about to be in 11th grade. So I'm doing SATs and stuff are coming up, and like AP testing and everything. So I mean, I'm just studying in school. What I have to study in school, I mean, you know, math, English, all that. But balancing it with drums, I think, has become a lot easier after School of Rock, because I really learned about time management. And it's also, I think I just have to cut out distractions a lot. I think that's the easiest way to get things done, because schoolwork isn't insanely terribly hard if I don't have my phone and I'm not looking at Instagram and YouTube constantly. So I think eliminating some type of distraction is probably pretty helpful to balancing, studies and drums. But I think if I have to focus on studies one day and I can't play drums as much that day, I think I have to focus on studies rather than, and same thing for drums. If I have something to do on drums and I want to do something else, I should finish what I have to do so I don't, put it to the last minute and ultimately don't balance both of them.
Right. Yeah, man. The social media thing is like, it's a lot coming at you at the same time. And yeah, so I'm just going up a bit off track over here. It's kind of a funny question, but yeah, I'm sure you might be getting a lot of DMs and stuff from girls. So like, you're such a good-looking young guy who's an actor, drummer. So how do you handle all of that coming from them?
Yeah, I haven't had a girlfriend yet. I haven't. I mean, it's just not a thing that's been on my mind that much. But well, you never know.
Right. Yeah. That's all cool, bro. Yep. So my final question to you is, if an upcoming kid wants to become the next Raghav Malhotra, what can you do to achieve that?
Wow, that means a lot. I think just practice your craft. I mean, because that's the thing that we have to do constantly. Just practice what we love to do. And I mean, I think, like for me, I want to become someone great, and I think the way to do that is just to practice and let the results kind of do the talking kind of thing. So I really try to make the best of every opportunity and always be nice to everyone who I see. I try to be nice to everyone who I see. And yeah, I think that's the best solution is just practice. I mean, yeah, I can't think of much else. Be happy. That's probably one good too.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, man, thanks a lot, Raghav, for joining in today. It was great having you to share your experiences, your thoughts, and your stories. So yeah, man, hope to see you soon in LA, bro.
Yeah. Hopefully, after all the COVID stuff, just dies down and we can be safe again. I'm definitely gonna come back to LA. Hopefully, in time for next year's like NAM or something, 2021 NAM. I don't know if it'll happen in 2020, but is it 2021 NAM? Is that what it's called? Or the NAM that's of NAM in January or February of 2022. So I guess that's 2022 NAM.
Right. All right, man. Again, thanks.
Thank you.
So guys, thanks for watching this video. I'm sure you might have learned a lot from this man. And yep, do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Comment down the next speaker you want me to get on this podcast. And I'll be leaving down the links to our social media handles. So do not forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Thank you.